what we saw is that most MSPs, they have the right tools, but they don't know how to.
Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Cyber Confidential. We're kicking off 2026, talking about MSPs, small biz, and cybersecurity. Welcome this episode's guest, Dor Eisner, CEO and co-founder of Guardz. Dor, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, we've been planning this for like 1,000 years because we had our first planning session September of last year, but with all the travel schedule and stuff, we're finally getting this in the books in January. First time you and I talked, you were traveling on a train somewhere in Miami or something like that. You remember that?
Yeah, correct. Probably from Miami to Orlando.
Sweet. I'm going to be back in Miami in 3 weeks or something for a show. Okay, so I've known of Guardz for, it seems like 2 or 3 years. The first I heard of you, it was something to do with insurance, like small biz insurance. Give us the origin story here of your founder brand story, how you got into Guardz, what you were doing before. Tell us the story.
Sounds good. So I started to do cybersecurity about 20 years ago, actually more than 20 years ago. And no one called it cybersecurity. It was before, the cybersecurity market or the category was created. And I was doing it for the Israeli intelligence force for about 5 years, and then doing it for the government for about 5 years. Learning all the ins and outs of cybersecurity, from the hands-on perspective, national stuff. And then I said, okay, I have a lot of knowledge in cybersecurity. Now let's take this knowledge and build some stuff. And I'm a builder for the last decade or so. Guardz is my third company. Long story short, my previous company was in threat intelligence, a company called Insights. We developed a threat intelligence platform that monitors the dark web, and we saw how many bad guys are out there, and the way that they target businesses is extremely, crazy. And we sold this business, the previous business, to Rapid7, and then we said, okay, money is important in life, but what more important in life is to do something that will do good for the world. And that's why we decided to start Guardz and to build cybersecurity for small businesses and to protect the backbone of the economy from the bad guys that we know firsthand in the dark web. And to your question about why cyber insurance was the very early days, because we try to understand what are the real cyber attacks that targeting small businesses. And we said that the best way to find it is to go to the cyber insurance carriers and get the anonymous data from them around what kind of claims they see across the small business community. And we partnered with few different big carriers that gave us this data. And in return, we gave them the ability to protect businesses before they underwrite their cyber insurance policies. And that was the inception of Guardz. That's how we learn what are the right security controls and what is the right orchestration platform that we need to build in order to protect small businesses from the threats of today and the threats of tomorrow.
Okay, let's dive into that because that's a fun avenue. This is approaching the security part from the lens of where the damages are coming from.
Yes.
Which is certainly well informed because that's where the money goes.
Exactly.
What did you what's an example of something that you learned that was counter to the common belief at the time?
So when we started Guardz about 3.5 years ago, we started to see a trend of cyber attacks going after identities. And this trend is now, I can tell you that more than 75% of the cyber attacks that we see today starts from the identity. And when we started to build the company, identity was something nice, but it wasn't, the critical attack surface or the critical vector that small businesses or MSPs protect against, like identity threat based and ITDR and stuff like that. And then we started to build Guardz around identity when we started 3.5 years ago. And now everything in the Guardz platform is around identity threat detection and response, where we are correlating, the endpoint, the email, the data, the awareness, the external, the internal, and a few different components into an identity-centric detection and response. And this is the power of Guardz today and also in the future. And this is something that we learned from real cyber claims that we analyzed at scale like 3-4 years ago.
What's the reaction of what's happening to the small business now that you're focusing more on the identity vector?
So we are protecting better. We are stopping threats before they actually eat the organization or create damage, because the identity, and it can be Microsoft 365 identity, Google Workspace identity, whatever, but the identity is the critical asset of the organization. And as I said, most of the threats are targeting those identities, and the damage that there is around account compromise is trickling down to all organization around the data, your private information, your money, and everything related to your business. And traditional point solutions in cybersecurity are not ready for this change of the bad guys. And the bad guys started to leverage LLMs and Gen AI much faster than the defenders, because it's just becoming a commodity. And if you think about it, cybersecurity is growing much faster than cyber protection. Like the bad guys, anyone can be a cyber criminal today, just going to the dark web, get an attack as a service tool, like phishing tool as a service, ransomware tool as a service, identity tool as a service, and just create spray and pray. And this kind of motion that spray and pray is going after the small businesses. It's going after the weakest link of the economy.
At any point, was Guardz serving small biz direct, or you've always been in partnership with managed service providers?
So from day one, we decided to partner with MSPs, and the platform was built for MSPs because we said Guardz was built for small businesses, to protect small businesses by design as a foundation. But from day one, we said, we don't want to go direct because we don't want to own the relationship with the business, because there are MSPs that already doing that. Why should we go after small businesses? Let's partner with the right partners and empower them to secure small businesses at scale, because for us is the mission, to protect millions of businesses. And the best way to do it is to partner with the best MSPs out there and empower them and equip them with the right platform to do it at scale.
What's the conversation like that your MSP partners are having with their small business, either existing clients or prospective clients? How does that conversation usually go to motivate the proactive investment into a security control? Let's Guardz agnostic. Let's just talk about identity controls.
So I think that the best way to convince a business is to show him the risk. And we are trying to show our partners what's the best way to show risk. And risk is everything from the external perspective, from the internal perspective, and today we can actually provide MSPs with a click of a button report that is showing the end business, like the small business risk, in a very detailed way without the ability, to connect or to do some, pen test or stuff like that. So from external and internal perspective, after you run Guardz for a few minutes, you can show the customer, hey, this is a report that is showing you everything about your risk posture across your digital assets and your internal assets. And we believe that this is the best way. It's not about selling fear. It's about selling the situation of the business and showing the value or showing the risk, and then showing the value you can bring to the game.
How do you quantify the value of something that that doesn't happen? If we're being proactive, we're trying to make sure damages don't happen.
Yeah.
How can you quantify this? This is the eternal question with selling proactive securities. You're trying to show that something didn't happen.
You go first of all and you analyze the risk and you compare it to the benchmark and to the industry. and you say, okay, like this is the risk that is relevant to your business, and this is what other businesses in the category are doing, and this is what the impact on your business will be if you won't solve those issues. Obviously, it's a numbers game, but it's not numbers that's set in stone. It's something that you can understand as a business owner and say like, okay, I have this amount of data. I am from this category. I don't know, dentist shop. I have this amount of clients. I have this amount of revenue coming in every year. I have this security posture implications around my environment. And this is the risk in general. Like you can lose, I don't know, $500,000 if someone will target your business. Now, do you want to take this risk?
What is the insurance data? How does the insurance data inform this? There's got to be industries that are more heavily targeted than others. What do you know about that?
For sure. Legal, financial, transportation, healthcare. Those are the categories that are, more advanced. And then other categories, other class of businesses are definitely around, but obviously tech, software, and stuff like that. But, the bad guys are going especially after vulnerable businesses for specific categories.
What industries don't care, don't need to care? And I don't mean this like forever. I mean, statistically, which are the least targeted businesses? Because there's going to be MSPs listening to this to say that, like, I've talked to dentists don't care. It's a common record scratch about dental clinics. But there's, practically speaking, there are industries that are more heavily targeted by adversaries. So which are lower on the spectrum?
Lower on the spectrum if you don't run your business on the internet. If you are just disconnected, if you have like, I don't know, like a store and you're selling liquor and
okay, retail.
Yeah, retail. If you are just a retail and you're just connected with your, I don't know, like with the
sales system.
Yeah, just a point of sale system and connectivity. Don't worry. The bad guys probably won't go after your business. But if you are dealing with data, with customers that are repeating customers, if you are dealing with money wires and around different supply chain vendors and stuff like that, if you are managing a fleet or you are managing dozens of employees across different geolocation, different offices, if you have a lot of information in general in your business, keep in mind that the bad guys are going after your business.
You must have some insight with the Guardz agents in place of who is being actively targeted and what type of vectors are in play. What can you say about that?
We just launched, by the way, a report that I think they interviewed about 1,000 businesses around the cybersecurity posture and stuff like that. So it's an interesting report. If you want, you can go to our website and get the report. But in general, we see that a lot of legal and financial firms that are under attack right now in a lot of social engineering and credential leakage and account compromise, because when someone is accessing the business and with account compromise, you can sit in the network without being even noticed. And just changing one forwarding rule and creating one wire that is out of the organization with the different credentials and the different details, you are losing, like thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in minutes without even being aware to the crisis.
Mm-hmm. These are stories that the MSPs have heard, but sometimes they run into this obstacle where the prospective client just balks at them and doesn't care. If you were in that conversation, how would you approach this feeling of apathy by let's say it's a accounting firm business owner is talking to you and it's not landing with them. They're not appreciating the risk. How would you approach that conversation?
So it's very easy. You can go to the Guardz platform, you can generate a prospecting report, and in minutes, I can show you how the bad guy is going to look at your business from the outside perspective and see all the open ports, all the different, like vulnerabilities on your website and stuff like that. And then sending you one email that is a high quality phishing, and see how your organization, like some percentage of your organization will click on this link. You need only one employee that will click on the link, and this bad guy is sitting in your network and now changing rules in your accounts and forwarding emails around and changing the invoices and wiring funds from your bank. So that's it. Just show the evidence.
Okay, I want to ask more about your founder story, because the fun part about working with MSPs is the cyber stuff is always important, but the most important thing in my relationship is talking to them about their transformation from being a technical person to now being a business owner.
Yeah.
So, and from your previous background, you went from being a very technical person to now running business and being a business person.
Yeah.
What's a memorable experience from that transformation when it started to click, where you were less focused on the technology and more focused on the business?
One important thing. Remember that your team is the most important asset of your business. And always empower your team to do better. That's, I think, across, it's agnostic to the business. Any business in the world, the founder or the CEO or whatever should put his 100% of his focus on making sure that he has the best team, and the best team works together in an orchestrated way, like a symphony, and deliver value to his clients. And if you are doing that as a business owner, you are already winning, 70, 80% of the business. Now, obviously, you need the right product, the right service, the right offering, the right go-to-market. You need a lot of things. But if you have the right team that works together in symphony, you don't need more than that to win.
This sounds like a piece of wisdom that came from being burned before. So was there an experience where this went wrong for you?
No. Actually, all of my businesses was first about the team, then about the town, like what market we are trying to sell to, then about the technology, what technology we are trying to sell, and then about timing. Obviously, timing is important in venture in general, but it's always the foundation, and that's the advice that I'm giving any business owner. Make sure that you have the right team at the right place, and they know how to work together, and there are no silos, because silos is kind of, like killing the business.
Give us the breakdown of how you're approaching the problem with Guardz. Like, you're selling directly to MSPs. The problem revolves around their delivery of security to their small business clients. Delivering security to small business clients can be solved with many different recipes. You've picked a particular recipe. What was the underlying problem that MSPs were struggling with that you chose to solve, and why choose this problem?
Yeah, it's a good point. So the biggest challenge of cybersecurity today, not just in the MSP market, in all different markets, enterprise, mid-market, whatever, is the highly fragmented point solutions that are out there are not connected together into one normalized data lake. And this normalization of data and ability to connect the dots, and today with AI, even to let AI agents work on this data, it's the foundation of everything that you want to do in cybersecurity. If you have the right tools and you have the right correlation, if you have the right data, you can do magic. If you have the right tools without the collaboration between the tools and the orchestration, you are lost in the wild. And what we saw is that most MSPs, they have the right tools, but they don't know how to connect the dots across the different attack vectors. And that's what Guardz is building. Guardz is building the foundation of a unified security platform that help MSPs to connect the dots across identities, emails, devices, data awareness, all the critical pillars of protecting businesses, just in an orchestrated, correlated, and automated way that can do detection and response at scale across multiple customers with thousands of users, without the ability to invest in complexity, SIEM-like environments, detection rules, and a lot of stuff that is just too complex for the average MSP, and especially for someone that is not coming with a security background or engineering background for many, many years.
How are they struggling with this now? And tell me what type of MSP we're talking about.
We are talking about MSPs with few technicians to few dozens of technicians. It can be like, I don't know, 5 to 50 technicians. Usually, if you have more than 50 technicians, probably you have the right knowledge, expertise, capital.
That's a huge MSP if you got 50 technicians. Like the gross majority of MSPs have 5 employees or less. So if you have 5 technicians, you're already in the top 20% of the MSP world.
Exactly. So let's say 5 to 20 technicians, or 5 to, this is the best customer profile for Guardz, because we are actually helping those MSPs to streamline security operation at scale without the complexity of all the point solutions, getting them right, configure them right, connecting the dots, analyzing the data, doing detection and response on top of that, monitoring 24/7, getting the right phishing, blocking the right phishing at the right time, and making sure that other users didn't click on this link, and the identity was not compromised, and the device was not deployed with the ransomware. And all of this stuff takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, and a lot of expertise, to make it right. And that's where Guardz come into play, to empower those MSPs to focus on their business, to make sure that their business is going and thriving, and to make sure that they are growing across their install base with new customers and stuff like that. And Guardz will make sure that they secure their clients the best way possible.
Give me your best MSP transformation story. That's often my easiest question to tell me, like, what problem you're solving and how you solve it. Let's say that MSP's got 5 technicians. What's the before-after transformation in their daily life where you're solving this problem?
So before, they had like 6 different point solutions across email gateway, traditional antivirus, traditional awareness training, traditional data protection, you name it. And their technicians came every day to the office and try to aggregate data from different point solutions, try to stitch it together, try to onboard new customers every time to different platform, try to see which alert is coming from each platform, and try to understand the context. Now, fast forward, few days later, they deployed Guardz, and they are in a place that they have a single place to onboard clients, to offboard clients, to monitor all of the clients across all the different attack vectors, and everything is happening in an automated way, 24/7, without the ability to look on the screen, just see the results and get the reports.
Okay. And so your common entry point for this, like your main ICP here is a MSP specifically that's not using some other like single pane like Kaseya's 360 or something like that, or like the Coro software that's got an agent for everything. But
if you are using any kind of a platform like Kaseya 365 or Coro or whatever, good luck. They try to go after the same problem, just execute poorly.
And how do your MSPs feel that? Like, what specifically about the poor execution do they feel that begs them to get a new, solve this in a different way?
Of course. If you get the best toy that you think that is the best toy, and after a few months it's just not delivered, you feel like you understand that this is the way to go. You just want a tool that will execute on your problem the best way possible.
Sweet. Now let's talk about more of this. So how are you finding these MSPs? Because this is the same struggle that your MSPs have in finding their clients, is building their lead list, getting in contact with them. So give us some insights in behind the scenes here. How do you identify these MSPs and how do you get in contact with them?
So first of all, we've built a nice brand that people can relate to the brand, and we are trying to do good for the world. That's the first thing. So we are trying to sponsor like community projects, like like free stuff and stuff like that. and we are giving the MSP the ability to protect their MSP business for free with our community package. So first of all, giving before taking. This is our mantra all the way. Second, obviously, the MSP market is defined in all different medias like Facebook, LinkedIn, Reddit, Twitter, you name it, Google. And we have a very advanced digital acquisition system that is running across all the different platforms and making sure that the brand is well known in the right communities, in the right groups, in the right forums. And from that point, we are making sure that our product delivers on the promise. And this combination of execution, being in the right communities, marketing to the right audience, and giving to the community, I think it's the right combination of building a successful brand.
What vector are you getting the most MSPs through?
I don't know the numbers, but it's a very robust marketing operations, across all the different digital medias, platforms, and, obviously Google, Reddit, and stuff like that. I think that it's all pretty much, the same in terms of the brand and the digital acquisition. Actually, the best MSPs that are coming to Guardz are coming us through events, like community events, because they see us all around, and then they have the option, to come and to talk with us face to face, like in the event, having a glass of wine, talking about their challenges and getting the right, explanation about the product.
Fantastic. Okay, you sold your last business. What's the next 3 years look like for Guardz?
Wow, Guardz is a journey for the long run. We feel like we are in the right market, doing good for small businesses. We have the right team, well funded, built an amazing technology, and it's about timing. This is the right timing to protect the backbone of the economy, to protect the small business community through the MSP market, through the MSP community, and we believe that we are doing good while obviously building a successful business, and very happy, to empower the MSP to do good for their clients. So definitely Guardz is on a trajectory to become a big company, and to replace all the traditional players that are not doing a good enough job in cybersecurity.
What's the next event that you got on your calendar for 2026?
We are going for a Rite of Boom in Vegas in March, and then we are going to MSP Expo and a few other events. So we'll
one in Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah, we'll be on the road.
I'll be there. I'll see you there.
Amazing.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of expos like this? Is it like when you say you're getting a lot of MSPs through events, this is the type of events you're talking about? You're talking about like peer group stuff?
No, we are talking about this kind of events, the MSP Expo, the IT Nation, the Rite of Boom, all the industry events that are, doing amazing job, bringing the right audience to learn, to communicate, and to have fun.
Sweet. All right, it's good hearing this background story. Let's wrap it up. Tell everyone where they can find out more about you and about Guardz.
Yeah, it's very straightforward. Go to guardz.com, Guardz with a Z, and just get a meeting on the calendar or start a trial, get your subscription for the community for free, and start to protect your clients in a better way.
Fantastic. All right, everyone, thanks for joining this episode of Cyber Confidential. It's been our guest, Dor Eisner, kicking off 2026, talking about small biz, MSPs, and cybersecurity. There you have it. I'll see you in like 4 weeks or something at the MSP Expo in Florida.
Thank you.
Enjoyed this episode? Hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe.